What if one of the most buttoned-up women on TV was hiding a secret romance with one of comedy's wildest legends, Nancy Kulp, best known as Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies, quietly shared a deep and unexpected bond with the unapologetically raw Redd Foxx of Sanford and Son. To stars from different worlds, one love story hidden from the cameras. Why did they keep it secret, and what else was Nancy hiding? Stay tuned, because this story will change the way you see them forever. Nancy Jane Kulp was born on August 28, 1921, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She spent her early childhood in the small town of Mifflintown before her family moved south to Miami-Dade County, Florida. Even as a young girl, Nancy stood out for her sharp intellect, quick wit, and love for language. She earned a degree in journalism from Florida State College for Women, now known as Florida State University, before continuing her academic journey at the University of Miami, where she earned a master's degree in English and French. With a mind wired for storytelling and analysis, she seemed destined for a life in the world of words. Before she ever appeared in front of a camera, Nancy worked as a reporter for a Miami newspaper and later took a job in the publicity department at MGM Studios. It was there, behind the scenes of the entertainment world, that she found herself captivated by acting. The idea of stepping in front of the lens, rather than working behind it, began to take root. But life had other plans. First, in 1944, during the height of World War II, Nancy Kulp put her dreams on hold and enlisted in the United States Naval Reserve. She served with distinction, eventually achieving the rank of lieutenant junior grade. This chapter of her life, spent in uniform and committed to service, set her apart from nearly every other actress of her generation. It also instilled in her a lasting sense of duty, discipline, and quiet patriotism that would stay with her for life. By the early 1950s, Nancy had begun transitioning into acting. With her tall stature, commanding voice, and distinctive presence, she didn't fit the mold of a typical leading lady, but that became her strength. Casting directors recognized her uniqueness and began offering her supporting roles in film and television. She made early appearances in films such as The Model and The Marriage Broker, 1951, Shane, 1953, and A Star is Born, 1954. Though often typecast as quirky secretaries or intellectual spinsters, Nancy brought humor, intelligence, and depth to every role. Her breakout came in 1962 when she was cast as Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies, a role that would change her life and make her a household name for nearly a decade. Nancy Kulp played the no-nonsense, career-minded secretary to banker Milburn Drysdale, whose job was to manage the money of the newly wealthy Clampett family. With her deadpan delivery and barely concealed romantic feelings for the clueless Jethro Bodini, played by Max Baer Jr., she became one of the show's comedic standouts. Miss Hathaway was uptight, loyal, and fiercely intelligent, a character many viewers assumed was just an exaggerated version of Nancy herself. But the truth was more complex. Off-screen, Nancy Kulp was private, disciplined, and deeply thoughtful. She was nominated for an Emmy Award in 1967 for her performance, a testament to the depth she brought to a role that could have been merely one note. Instead, she helped define a generation of television comedy. Beyond the Beverly Hillbillies, Nancy worked steadily through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, appearing in popular shows like Perry Mason, The Bob Cummings Show, Sanford and Son, The Love Boat, and Murphy Brown. She even lent her voice to animated series, further showcasing her remarkable range. But it was one of those shows, Sanford and Son, that would ultimately connect her, in a way the public never saw, to the one man who was her opposite in almost every way, Redd Foxx. Redd Foxx, born John Elroy Sanford, was a force unlike any other in American comedy. He carved his path on the Chitlin Circuit, a network of clubs where black performers brought raw, unfiltered entertainment to packed houses. His style was bold, raunchy, and unapologetically real. Long before television cleaned him up for prime time, Redd Foxx was already a legend, known as the king of raunchy party records and adored for his fearless comedy that pushed boundaries and shattered norms. In the 1970s, he took his unfiltered charm to television as Fred Sanford in Sanford and Son, portraying a fast-talking, street-smart junk dealer whose sharp wit and bigger-than-life attitude made him a household name. In contrast, Nancy Kulp built her legacy through restraint, intellect, and a measured, dignified persona. As Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies, she represented order, intellect, and properness, the polar opposite of Redd Foxx's brash, chaotic energy on the surface. They seemed like the people who existed in completely separate orbits. And yet, behind closed doors, a surprising and intimate connection grew between them, according to insiders. Their relationship began after a chance meeting at a Los Angeles charity event in the late 1960s. Both stars were at the peak of their fame, yet both carried a quiet loneliness. Tired of being misunderstood and boxed into their public personas, they found comfort in each other's minds and hearts. Their conversations weren't about the industry. They were about books, civil rights, and the deeper questions of identity and belonging. At a time when both race and sexuality were under intense social scrutiny, their bond, possibly romantic, remained secret. Nancy, widely believed to be gay or bisexual, never publicly addressed her personal life. Redd, tangled in public divorces and a volatile image, had his own reasons for keeping things quiet. What they shared was private, profound, and far ahead of its time. Those close to them said they shared long nights of laughter, debate, and shared understanding. They saw past each other's personas and into the people they really were. Nancy, Kulp, the intellectual spinster of television, and Redd Foxx, the raunchy king of stand-up, had found something rare in each other: honesty without judgment. As the 1980s approached, Nancy pivoted once again, this time into politics. She ran for Congress in Pennsylvania's 9th District as a Democrat, championing causes like education, environmental protection, and civil rights. Her campaign was brave and sincere, though it drew controversy, particularly when Buddy Ebsen, her former Hillbillies co-star, publicly endorsed her opponent. Despite the loss, Nancy earned the respect of her community and admirers nationwide for her courage. After stepping away from the world of politics, Nancy Kulp gracefully returned to the quieter passions that had always grounded her: teaching, mentoring, and giving back. She accepted a position as a drama and acting professor at Uniata College in Pennsylvania, where her students found more than just a teacher. They found a guide, a mentor, and a living example of perseverance and grace. Known for her warm presence and sharp mind, Nancy brought the same precision to the classroom that she had brought to every role throughout her long and respected acting career. But after years in public life, Nancy eventually chose solitude over the spotlight. She retired to a serene farm in Connecticut, trading soundstages and campaign trails for quiet mornings and fresh air. There, in the calm rhythms of rural life, she found the peace that had so often eluded her in the hectic world of Hollywood. Later, she moved once again, this time to Palm Springs, California, a desert oasis where she would spend her final years not just in rest, but in purpose. In Palm Springs, Nancy Kulp immersed herself in community work. She volunteered for the Humane Society of the Desert, championing the welfare of animals, a lifelong passion of hers. She also gave her time and energy to United Cerebral Palsy, raising funds and awareness for individuals living with developmental disabilities. Through her work, she made a tangible difference in the lives of countless people and animals alike. But her heart remained in the arts, and she stayed actively involved with the Desert Theater League, attending performances, mentoring young actors, and remaining a beloved figure in the local theater scene. But life had one final twist for Nancy, and it was a cruel one. After decades of cigarette smoking, a habit common among her generation when the dangers of tobacco were less understood, Nancy Kulp was diagnosed with cancer in 1990. She underwent chemotherapy and faced her illness with the same strength and stoicism that defined her character. She never sought pity, never made it a public battle. She simply carried on. But by early 1991, the cancer had spread. Her health rapidly declined. On February 3, 1991, Nancy Kulp passed away in Palm Desert at the age of 69. Her body was brought home to Pennsylvania, where she was buried in Westminster Presbyterian Cemetery in Mifflintown, a place as humble and grounded as she was. Ironically, Redd Foxx, the man with whom she shared a quiet, private bond, would pass away later that same year. Two stars from opposite worlds, connected in life by an unseen thread, now forever linked by the mystery of their story. One of the most beautiful and little-known chapters in television history. What Nancy Kulp and Redd Foxx shared was real, grounded in respect, intellect, and perhaps even love. In a world of illusion, they found truth. Nancy's legacy isn't just about laughter. It's about courage, brilliance, and breaking barriers. If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful untold Hollywood stories. Drop a comment below and let us know your favorite memory of Nancy Kulp. And don't miss what we uncover next. Thanks for watching.